Hello, 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 and today is not a combo guide, a tier list. Play this character, or even or trying to influence you in any way or shape or form. This is a series of case studies on all characters in Dragon Ball FighterZ, and today we are covering Nappa, the Big Black Tower. Now, Nappa as a character, at first glance, when you see Nappa, he is a muscle-bound freak. He has big, hard normals, pause, great 5H that travels so much range. He hits really hard. You see all of these moves, you can see why certain characters died when facing Nappa, right? Let's put them on all block. So up close, we talk about in zones. As always, we talk about characters in zones. We talk about up close, mid-range, and far. Like, what are they really looking for? What are their buttons? So Nappa, we go for his buttons. Nappa has a 5L, which is pretty unique, actually, because it hits low. So Nappa has a low hitting 5L that's got it's got actually okay range on his 5L, and it is -3. 5LL is -7, so Nappa can't stagger and leave it here. It is punishable, but he can chain his 5LL. So before he does 5LL, he can his chain is 4LL, which is really helpful for Nappa. So this is a good confirm string. Instead of going into obviously 5LL and being unsafe, if you hold back and put the inputs on again, if you hold back with Nappa, you're much safer. You saw that 7-frame start. His 2L, funnily enough, doesn't hit crouches. However, it's -1. So this is a really good button with Nappa to go into his 2L, because it is only -1, and as you see, not many things are punishable. So at this range versus himself is really good. His 2M is -7, cancel into his and his 5M is -4. So you're never gonna just leave a string here. Leaves a good. So -4 is really good. So he's really safe. So Nappa's pressure is really safe. As you see, that's the low. 5H. Obviously, it's -8, but it hits about mid. It works not just in close range, works in mid, so close as well. And his 2H is 13 frames, one of the faster 2Hs, obviously in the game, up there with some of the fastest in the game, with Cell among some others. Now, if you just go into his, obviously he's got a 6M, traditional 6M. Now, cross-up buttons, you've got a JM, which is good range, hitting from really far. His H, the dolphin kick. Really good for kind of traversing space, and actually really good as a cross-up move. So it's actually really helpful as well. Now, a unique move he has is his jump 2H. If you hold it, it goes down. If you press it, sorry, and if you hold it, he does his whiff animation. So you can really bait out your opponent who's trying to 2H you. Now, those are his buttons. Let's go into his specials. First before his specials. I need bar. So Nappa has the explosion, the infamous pom finger, and his level 3, which is pretty fast. So 14 frames and is pretty fast, so watch out for that. 12 up close, -23, quite good. Now, we're not here to talk about obviously what the character does. Let's quickly go through the specials. Obviously it's -2. He can actually charge them, so you can charge that. M is a running version, 236M, and H, he can hold the other part. So you can really mix your opponent up by just holding it down. But the big thing about Nappa is his Cyberman. So if you do 214L, Nappa can plant the Cyberman, and depending on what button you press, the Cyberman will do that. So here, Cyberman's just doing slashes. Here, if I do the M's, he's doing that. He's doing something else there. Do the L again. So if I'm meshing H, let's go in the corner, sorry. So if you're just mashing, depending on your button mashes, depends on what you're trying to do. But the L Cyberman kind of does the same formation, but the M Cyberman, this is where it gets interesting. This is where things get really interesting. He does the spit at the start, always does the spit, always at the start. And bear in mind, this is going to be very important a bit later when I explain Yamcha's win conditions. And obviously he's got EX Cyberman as well. That does an array of things. Does an array of things that you ask it to do. Now, we've gone over all of the basics here. Now, first thing you ask is, what is Nappa's win conditions like? What's he really looking for? Now, the first thing about Nappa, you saw, yes, the Cyberman, yes, he has a character assist list that you can call, which is really helpful. But setting up the Cyberman is where Nappa's got to start first. So when Nappa's in the close range and he's in the mid range, Nappa only has 5H here. And when he's from far, yes, he has this, but aside from that, and obviously his 236S, which he can control, Nappa doesn't really have much aside from that. So he really needs help bringing out that Cyberman. So if you have assists that allow him, Nappa to... So if you have assists that allow Nappa to start up. So if he's 236, 214S, I've got to this move has armor. So this is a good move for ending Nappa's strings. This is very, very good for ending Nappa's strings. And helping him set up Cyberman as well. So if you hear, you want assists that allow Nappa to set up Cyberman so his opponents can really start guessing. So his opponents have to guess when Cyberman's there. So assists that help him do that really help Nappa as well. And assists that allow him to do that also allow Nappa to uniquely set up situations like so. Like this situation here is very hard for your opponent, as Nappa can go from a high and a low. So that's Nappa using the spit to kind of restand the opponent. So that in that situation, your opponent really has to guess in that situation. So assists that allow him to do that, there's a plethora of assists. We use a beam assist there with Goku Black. You can do that with Krillin, NEC assist. So Nappa's really looking for partners that allow him to do that. So partners that allow him to obviously make the opponent block are really Nappa really likes, and allow him to traverse space. So if you really find it difficult getting in with Nappa, especially with the 5H, it's good to have. Nice to have assists that allow him to do that. So he's kind of looking for assists that allow him to continue that combo as you saw there in the corner, and assists that allow him to kind of allow him to make your opponent block. So you can bring out that Cyberman, so the Cyberman can do work. So your opponent has to guess, because that's an overhead. So that's what he's looking for in a partner. Now we talked about what he was looking for. What about fighting against Nappa? What are you really looking for when you fight against Nappa? Now, aside from the 5H, obviously in the mid race, go back to the ranges. Up close, he's really strong. But aside from the 5H here, Nappa and obviously a running overhead, and this, Nappa doesn't really have a way of traversing space. Aside from Super Dash and something else, he doesn't have a special that's gonna get Nappa in, except for doing this, which not too fast actually. So when he's full range, full screen here, that's what he's looking for. He's really looking for ways to get in. So if you're trying to face Nappa outside of 5H, if you stay outside of his 5H range and you as a smart opponent, just stay outside of this. If I was Goku Black, for instance, you can actually whiff punish him. So a lot of people probably stay away from Nappa, and any attempt he does here, they'll level 3 it. So you do have to be wary when facing Nappa, or if you are Nappa, that way of getting in can be punished, or if your opponent is seeing it's coming, they can throw out a medium really, really early. Another thing you have to realize when you're playing a Nappa is setting Cyberman alone is a risk. So if I'm sitting here as Nappa just setting Cyberman, planting Cyberman by myself, bear EX or not, it is a risk for my opponents doing it. See, there is not a risk there, but my opponent can be ready for it. If my opponent is really, really on the ball, they can even punish you with level 3. Or even that, they can probably just traverse the space and come in there. So it's just something you have to worry about when you're Nappa. Something you really do have to think about when you are Nappa. Now, I talked about for and against, but there's actually one very, very, very unique thing to Nappa that I'm about to show to you now. So Nappa's 5S is pretty unique 5S. It doesn't look like it very here, but once he's reflecting, Nappa's the start of the 5S is actually reflecting. Not only is it reflecting, you can see it straight away. So right there, Nappa has a unique way of facing people who are 5S'ing him. So as you see there versus Majin Buu, not only did he reflect it, he also sent a fireball himself. So this has some sort of without using any terminology, this has it obviously reflects key blasts, and obviously he throws his own, so he's got some kind of invulnerability there. So that's something you can think about when you are playing Nappa. Now let's go back to character select screen. So we've talked about kind of the unique things about Nappa and fighting for and against. Now see the characters we picked. We had Nappa with Krillin and Goku Black. And then we had Nappa with Shinemba and Majin Buu. So Nappa, as we saw here, as a character, he's really looking for partners that allow him to obviously create that Cyberman metagame, to have that assistless character that's there on the screen, really making the opponent guess between Nappa's, obviously his chop, which is really, really fast, and it's an overhead, his 236L. And obviously his opponent's also guessing between, obviously when he combos them and puts them in that unique situation in the corner, which also can be set mid-screen. So he's looking for really good partners that allow him to do that. So you saw with the beam assist that allow him. So most assists allow him to set up his M Cyberman in the corner. But you can find an array of assists in the corner. So we go from the top, there's Yamcha. So if we're just going for the top, Krillin helps him do that, Goku Black can do that. But we can also do that with Gogeta. So Gogeta could help him do that, basically help him do that, Tien could, Bardock could, 17. As you can see, most assists in the game, depending on the assist you pick, can help Nappa there. Now, if we're fighting against Nappa, as I said before, outside of the 5H, he has no real way of traversing space, except taking risks with his 236S, and his own 5S, so he has to be very wary of that. And setting Cyberman alone is a risk for Nappa, so it's very risky for Nappa to do it by himself, so something he has to kind of think about. So yeah, I hope this helps someone. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you kind of really want to talk more about Nappa, if this has helped you, or if it hasn't. Would love to hear about it. I want to create a community of people or thinkers. But yeah, I'm hungry. I'm about to go eat some food, so have a good day. Peace.